I always go super light to start with, because if you go too dark and you need to erase, what happens is you go to erase and you can still see your line because it was so dark to start with. So we want to make sure we don't draw super dark to start with. Now this is relatively a circle. That's what we want. If it doesn't come out a perfect circle, that's okay, but try to avoid something that looks like a potato with a crease in the middle or something, okay? We're trying to draw a circle or something like it. If it's a little bit oval-like, that's okay. We want to have a circle. And this is pretty big. See how big it is compared to my hand? So it's bigger than a baseball. So when you draw that circle, it should be bigger than a baseball. I am looking forward to seeing what you guys do, because I saw some of the stuff you were drawing on your events that you drew out, and I have a pretty good idea we're going to have a pretty good time in here. A lot of you draw pretty well. Okay, we got one circle. Now we're going to put another circle about right in the middle, but it's going to be a smaller one. So I'm going to draw one right in the middle. Again, I'll turn my paper so I don't try to break my wrist. Just turn the paper around and make a light circle. And I see that's kind of what I want. Now I'll come in and darken it. And so when I'm finished, it should look a lot like a donut. That's not what we're drawing, but it's what it kind of turns out looking like right now. So if we've done it right, we got something that looks like a donut or a bagel, okay, kind of, or a tire. We want to make sure that's not too tiny. That should be a little bigger than a quarter, like you'd buy a pencil with, okay? Yeah, you're a little small, but you'll be all right. So everything we're going to start with right at the beginning is just going to be circles. And by the way, as far as being quiet and paying attention, you guys are doing a great job. Let's just do this the whole period, and it'll be great for your on-task grade and also for those that miss class, so that when they watch the video, they don't have a lot of distractions. So I appreciate it. Does anybody need another second? Okay, that's one thing that I forgot to mention. If I start getting too far ahead, please just raise your hand and I'll know I need to slow down for a second, all right? Okay, so we've got two circles, a big one and a small one. We're going to put another circle here. We're going to draw one right here that almost touches the center, but not quite. Well, actually it's going to touch it. That's okay. That one's going to touch. Keeping it light, getting darker, darker, darker. Now I'm going to draw another one the same size, very lightly. I'm going to try to keep them close to the same size. Now I'm not going to measure these with like a micrometer and say, oh, that's not exactly the same size to the last millimeter. As long as it's close, that's what we're shooting for. Okay, so looks like Mickey Mouse's silhouette in the center right now. Does anybody need more time to get those circles? Just raise your hand if you do, and I'll just wait for a second. Those of you that raised your hand, there was like 3 of you, just give me a thumbs up when you're caught up, okay? Then I know to move on. While we're waiting for them, guys, just continue to be quiet. We're just waiting for them to get caught up. And remember, this isn't perfection today. We're just learning today. That's all we're doing. Okay. Now we're going to put 3/4 circles on it. So we're going to go straight over. Okay, we got circle here, and we're going to go straight over. We're going to put kind of a 3/4 circle right there. Or the letter what? C. And then we're going to come over here and do the same thing on this side, try to keep it about the same size, and it's a backwards letter C. Okay, so they're very similar. And what we're doing is we're building a foundation. Just like if you were building a house, you start with a blueprint, you start with the foundation, then you build on top of the foundation. We're just creating a foundation right now to make something just a little more complex. So now we have our basic foundation drawn. We've got one more circle to put on here, and then we're going to kind of go away from the circle and go to other shapes. So right down here at the bottom, I'm going to turn mine upside down now. I'm going to put another 3/4 circle, but I'm going to make it a little bigger than these ones all are. So I'm going to come on here and make another letter C. So I can turn it this way. If it's easier to draw a letter C, just turn it that way. All right, now we got Circle City. We got circles everywhere. Now's the fun part. Once we got all these on here, now we can start turning this into something. Because right now it just looks like a bunch of circles and hasn't really evolved into a character yet, but it's going to. Now the cool thing about this is you can take what I've got drawn here and you can make it into several different kind of characters. What we're going to do is we're going to make this an old man, just like I drew on the board the other day, okay? But you could make it a young man. You could make it a cowboy with a big handlebar mustache. You could make it look like a little Chinese guy with a Fu Manchu. You could do all kinds of things like with this foundation, but for today, we're going to do the old man. So let's start with the easiest stuff first. To connect these are going to be glasses right here. We're going to put just kind of a little U shape that connects the two. Okay? It's kind of a little curved line that connects this lens with that lens. And then off the edge of this, we're going to go from the corner of the ear right here where it meets the head to the glasses, and we're just going to put a straight line right there. And we're going to do one over here, and that's what connects his glasses so they sit on his ears and don't fall off his face. Okay. And I love the next part because then it starts to pick up personality, starts to look like something. And we're going to be there really soon. Okay? All right. Okay, next part. Now we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to come out from the, we're not coming out all the way at the top or the bottom. We're coming down towards the bottom. We're bringing a line that comes out this way, a curved line that comes out that way, just like that. Curves out both sides, okay? Almost looks like a frown. But we want to connect this line with this line over here. And I don't want to just do a straight line across because that won't be any fun. So I'm going to do a kind of a up and down semi-pointy line. So I'll just go like this for right now. These are little tiny points. It's like that. I'll hold it up so you can see what I did. See, just up and down, up and down, up and down. Not too extreme. And then right in the middle, I'm going to put a little line that goes up. And then I'm going to come over a little ways and curve a line. And curve a line. They get a little bit longer as they get away from the nose. I did that on the right side. Now I'm going to come over to the left side and do the same thing. And when we finish that, we have a mustache. Okay. So I'll pause for a minute while you get caught up on that. So what we're trying to do is take you away from drawing little faces like this, okay? This is based off things I've seen in class over the years. Okay, we're trying to take you away from that, take simple shapes, put them together, and make something a little more interesting. We're not quite there yet on this, but we're getting there pretty fast. So this guy, like I say, we're trying to get a little bit away from that. I can't remember, what was that cartoon that had the little babies in it? I can't remember. Rugrats. That kind of has a Rugrat vibe to it right there. We're getting a little bit away from the Rugrats. Okay, for the glasses, we're not going to draw his eyeballs. We're going to do a little cheat code here. We're going to make it look like reflection on glass. And to do that, we use diagonal lines. We're going to do one this long, then we're going to put one in the center. It's a little longer, and then another short one. So short, long, short. And in the illustration world, when you draw like that, that means it's glass, okay? And we can't see through it, basically. He's got real thick glasses. And he's starting to come together. We're getting there. This is not his neck, by the way. That's going to be the center of a knot for a bow tie eventually. So now we're going to, does anybody need a second to finish the glasses? Okay, all right. We're going to put some eyebrows on this guy, and we're going to use the rectangle shape that's over there on the left. We're going to change it slightly. So I'm going to come over here and put two parallel lines. I'm going to put one right above the glasses right here, and then I'm going to put one above it, and then I'll connect it. See how that's a rectangle shape? It's a little wider on one end than the other. So this end's slightly narrow, this side's slightly wider from here to here. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing on this side. It's a slightly curved line. They're parallel lines. And then I just connect the ends. And now you have some big old eyebrows, okay? And where they're raised like that means he's looking at you. Now the next part here, now keep in mind, we're doing a very simple shape this first time. The next time we are going to start with a circle, but we're going to take it up a notch. Each one we draw will go up just a little bit more, not necessarily in difficulty, but in complexity, I mean they're a little more complex. This guy, he's got just a little bit of hair left and he's kind of proud of it, so you press your pencil down and you curve it from the center and you curve out like that. And then you come over here and you do one going the other way. You know those little birds you draw in the sky? That's kind of what you're putting on top of his head right there. It's like a little bird flying there. Well, that's so good, we're going to put another little bird inside of that. We're going to do that lines just slightly shorter. And I lift up right at the end. When I make my line, I lift my pencil off my paper, and that makes the end of the line pointed. See if that'll, yeah, see how that's pointed on the end? That's by lifting it up right at the end. And I'm going to give him just a couple more hairs down lower. Just a little short one there, a little short one there. So that's very near his head. And then one little curved one coming out of the middle all by itself. And that's all the hair that poor old guy has anymore. But he's proud of him, so he spikes it and combs it up. Now, if yours aren't perfect, that's okay. I just want you to learn how to lift your pencil up, make a point on the end, and make a slightly curved line. Instead of just having straight hair like on our dude here, we don't want it coming up here like this. This looks like uncooked spaghetti coming out of his head. Okay, that looks like uncooked spaghetti noodles or spikes kind of stuck in his head. All right, we got to give him a bottom lip. We're just going to put a curved line underneath, not too far below the mustache. Okay, that's his bottom lip coming across there. That's not his mouth, it's his bottom lip. The upper lip is covered by his mustache, of course, okay? And after we get that finished, we're going to put the inside of the ear on him, and then we'll go to the bow tie. Raise your hand if you need a second to get caught up so I know how long to pause, okay? Looks like everybody's doing all right. Don't be shy, though. If you're getting a little behind, make sure you let me know, because I can't read minds. I don't know if you don't let me know, okay? All right, inside of the ear is easy peasy to do, because we're just going to draw a parallel line that's shorter than the outside of the ear. So you go just all the way around the inside. Do that on that side. Do that on that side. Don't have it touch the head. There's separation between it and the head, okay? So it just looks like a C and a backward C inside the larger C and backward C. And then we're going to add one little detail on top of that. Okay, instead of going all the way around, we're just going to go part way around and bring it to a point right there and bring it to a point right there. So now we got the inside of his ears, okay? With a nice little curved line. Don't bring it all the way around. You're not trying to make like a little quarter moon or a crescent. It's just a little line to show the inside of the ear. We're going to give him a big bow tie. We're going to overemphasize it just a little bit. Sometimes with cartoons, when you exaggerate a little, it makes them more interesting. Does anybody need more time before I go to the bow tie? Just let me know if you do. Okay, we're going to come over here and we're going to make this look kind of like a spider. I'm going to come almost where this part meets this part, where the big circle meets the smaller one, almost. And I'm going to put a diagonal line up that kind of comes right below the face, and I'm going to put another one over here, about the same length. Okay, that is not a little body with two arms sticking out. Okay, but if it looks like that, then you've drawn it right. And since that was so much fun, we're going to put one on the bottom doing the same thing. Now it will look like a little body with arms and legs sticking out, like he's doing a jumping jack or really excited. But that's not what it is. Although that would be a pretty funny body on that big head. All right, now we're going to kind of come to the center. If you can figure out where the middle is without having to make a mark, I'm just going to put a little light mark there. You can see I put a little teeny light mark. And that's just so I know to come from the end of my line right here and from the end of the line right here and make kind of a V shape right there. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm not going to make a little mark because I got a pretty good idea where it is, so I'll just make it, okay? So now he has the bow tie, and we'll put a couple of wrinkles in it here. Uh-oh. Will somebody go up and touch that screen, please, and then tap the one on the left. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's put some wrinkles on that bow tie. We're going to do the letter J. I told you we'll do some things that are familiar. Just going to come around that way. If you look at that, it's like a little J hook. We're going to put one going the other way. And then we'll put one over here. One over there, and we have his little bow tie. Now has the little wrinkles in it, and it's all done as far as the bow tie goes. We've got one last detail to do on his face, and then we're going to move on to another character that might challenge you a little bit. I would say as long as your circles for the nose, the glasses, and the shape of the head are similar to a circle, you probably have a pretty good drawing, okay? If we're really struggling to get circles, we'll address that later tomorrow, okay? After I've had a chance to look at your drawings. All right, we're going to put a mouth on him now. And we're going to come off each end of this mustache here. I'm going to put a little curved line right here. It curves up. And then I'm going to put a parenthesis right on the end, and then a parallel line that's a little shorter to create the corner of his mouth. So it's two parentheses, a long one and a short one, and just a little curved line up. So now he's got half a smile. Whatever I do on the left, I'm going to come over here on the right and do the same thing. And now he's got a big smile. He's got a full smile coming off both sides. And all the shapes on here are pretty easy to draw. I'd say the hardest thing on that whole drawing is probably his mustache or the little bit of hair right here. Okay? Everything else is pretty basic shapes. Curved lines, circles, triangles, rectangles, pretty easy. All right, now we're going to throw a little curveball at you and try something a little more complex. So for this one, and I think you're going to like this one, we're going to turn our paper, we're going to take our guy right here, and we're going to turn our paper this way. If it makes it easier for you to draw and less messy, you can fold your paper under and take that part and just fold it under so that you just have this right here, and that way your hand's not rubbing down here on your drawing the whole time. Instead, your drawing's on the bottom. Okay, so I suggest maybe doing that so we don't smear it. And I love this next character. This is one of my favorite characters. Hopefully you'll like it too. Hopefully we can get it done by the end, but if we don't, we'll finish it up tomorrow. And that's why I love having you guys every day, because whatever we don't finish one day, we can do the next. Okay, we are going to start with a circle, but this time we're going to put the circle on our left side of our paper. And I'm going to not go right to the edge. I want to leave a little space between my circle and the edge. And again, I'm going to start off light, but I want it to be fairly big, not huge. I need some room to the right of it. Turning my paper again, just like I did before. Turn, turn, turn. Trying to keep it kind of as circular as I can make it. After I've got it lightly drawn with a whole bunch of room to the right, I'm going to come in here and make that slightly darker now. Not too dark, because I am going to do some erasing with this one. So I definitely don't want to draw this circle too dark. But I got to do it dark enough that you can see it on the screen. I'm trying not to go so dark that when I erase it, it won't go away, which is kind of hard to do sometimes when you're demonstrating. Okay. So again, a little bit bigger than a baseball. If yours is smaller than a baseball, you need to make it bigger. Okay? And you're about baseball, so you're close. And sometimes, and this may apply to some of you, sometimes the circle is the hardest part to do. So, we just practice and we get better with practice. Raise your hand if you're having any trouble drawing a circle, because you're probably a few of you, because it's a little bit hard at first, okay? Like I say, as we practice, we'll get a little better. But right now, we're just kind of learning. Has everybody got the circle? Anybody need a second to finish the circle? You're good? Okay. All right, now we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to come along my circle, and then I'm going to bring it come off the circle. I'm going to bring a curved line out, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to bring a curved line out, and they're fairly close together right here. See, there's only about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 between here and here. I don't want it way up here, and then I don't want it being really skinny off the back of this. Okay? So we got a little bit of distance right here. If I turn it this way, almost looks like a neck on a head kind of thing, okay? But it's important that we have a nice blend from here coming out, nice blend from here coming out. Then we're going to do something really odd. I'm going to put a diagonal line that goes up this way and another diagonal line that goes the opposite way, just like that. Don't make these two straight up and down. Make sure they lean over a little bit, okay? Now we'll do something a little bit odd again, is I'm going to come right there where the corners are. I'm just going to put a slightly curved line right there. And right now it kind of looks like a head on a neck with really narrow shoulders. Okay. And you'll notice when I draw, I turn my paper all different ways when I'm doing it. I turn it the easiest way to draw what I want to draw. So one thing, if you don't learn anything else from today, rather than trying to draw this whole thing with it just this way the whole time, which is the hardest way to do this. It's much easier if you turn your paper and go with ways that are natural that your hand wants to go anyway. If we turn it this way, I don't even know what that looks like. That's a strange looking image right there. Okay, while I have it this way, like it looks like a little person's portrait almost, I'm going to bring a straight line right out of the middle, about as long as these lines are right here. So a straight one right there. And then I'm going to add 2 more lines while I'm here. So between this line and this line, I'm going to put another diagonal line that's not quite as steep as this one, and then one that comes over here. I'm trying to make them fairly even apart, not too close together, pretty close to the same width apart on the end. I mean, again, not going to measure it with a micrometer as long as it's close. Now it kind of looks like a jellyfish with tentacles or something. Okay, I don't need it this way anymore, so I'm going to go whoop and turn it that way now. Okay, it's time to do something strange again, but this is going to start giving it some personalities. Anybody need a second before I move on? Okay, just give me a thumbs up, Emberly, as soon as you're ready. And the next thing we're going to do is a very easy line, so no reason to stress on this one. Okay, about halfway down. Here's the top, here's the bottom. This is about halfway, kind of like straight over from that line. We're going to bring a line that comes outside our circle, just like that, comes, almost halfway, coming halfway across the circle. And then right here, I don't want to go straight up like a right angle. I'm going to come along here and I'm going to curve it up. And I'm just going to come up a little ways like that. Okay, it's kind of an L shape, but it's curved and goes down a little. So we're coming down and going up just slightly. And now I got this thing sticking out here, and I've got to blend it back into my circle here in just a second. Now, we don't want this to stick way out here, like way over here, or it's going to cause us a problem. It's just a little ways out, not barely out, but out a little ways. It's at least a 1/4 inch, maybe further out. Now I want to blend this line with the circle. So I'm going to come along my circle, look where I'm going. So I got my pencil right here, and I'm looking where I want to go, which is the end of that line. And I'm just going to connect it up, okay? That is a technique in drawing, is you start where you want to go, put your pencil down, and then look where you want to end up, and then just let your pencil go, and it kind of goes right where you're looking, okay? And now we need to do some erasing, because I don't want this line going from here to here, so I'm going to erase that out. And some of you might be able to start to figure this out. This is going to be a fish, and it's going to be a cool fish when we're done. I think you'll really like it when it's finished. This is just, we're just kind of going the direction that we need to go. So for some of you, to help you envision this being a fish, when you're drawing water, and some of you draw water like this, and this is fine because this is what we need to do. You know how sometimes you draw water and it looks like this? That means water, right? Everybody understands that's kind of universal for water. We're going to do that right here. We're going to go in between each one of these lines and put a curved line and stop at the end of the line. And there it is, just like water going across there, okay? So that when I turn it this way, we have a fishtail. And that's really easy to do. Now, once that's done, we're going to do something that's only semi-hard, not really hard, but we got to put eyes on this guy. The tricky part of the eyes is I'm going to put one eye on, but I got to leave room to the left of it to put the other eye on. So I want to make sure that I don't get this first one too far to the left, because I got to leave room for the other one. So I'm going to make an oval shape right here. And I'm going to come above my line of where my mouth is. And that's where the bottom of my curve is going to go. And then I'm going to make a big oval shape. Drawing again light to start with. And then as I get it kind of where I want it, come in here and darken it a little bit. But remember, we're going to have two eyes on him, so we got to leave room for the other one. This is the close side eye, okay? So there's one big eye. The other eye is going to go just to the left of it, and it's going to start the same way. Now, if this goes slightly outside of our main circle, that's okay, okay? So I'm coming around light, going to darken it up. And the first oval should overlap the second oval. And then I'm going to erase anything that's inside of that second oval, in case, you know, where it kind of went outside the big circle. I'm just erasing it out, cleaning it up so the inside of it's clean. Almost looks like two eggs sitting together there. Yes, a little more oval shape. You're kind of round. They need to be taller, okay? And this thing, we're just building it up a little bit by little bit. I'm not going to go to the details in the eye just yet because you do details last. You do your foundation first, details last. Now I'm going to make what's like a lowercase m or like a bird flying in the air. We talked about bird looking like this before. Now we're going to make one that's a little more extreme, like his wings are bent a lot more like that. Or, again, what number would that be? Basically a 3. So I'm going to come along here, and I'm going to come right here at where it comes off the face. I'm going to come right over the top of that eye, go right between the eyes, and then bring it around and stop. See, that's a number 3 right there. That's his little brow. If there is a line from the main circle in it, just erase it out. I kept mine light so it easily erased. And so now it's gone. That's his little brow on top of his head. Does anybody need more time before I move on to anything? Let me know if you do, because we're about to change things up a little bit. All right, we're going to come down here. We're going to go down below the eyes and kind of where the mouth, back of the mouth is, and come straight down. And then I'm going to put a diagonal line that goes past the body. Then I'm going to put another one, a diagonal out from that one, and another diagonal out from that one. So I got 3 lines, with the one in the middle being slightly longer than these two, but I mean just barely longer, okay? And remember when we connected these lines here, we're going to do the same thing here. We're just going to come right here and connect this one with the middle one and the middle one with that one. Okay, and now we have one of the fins drawn. That's called a pectoral fin. But there's a problem. What's the problem? What do I need to fix? What is it? Yep, I need to erase that part of the main circle because we don't want this to be a see-through fin on this one. Okay. Now some fish have fins that are so thin you can kind of see through them, but this one doesn't. Okay. So we got that. That also makes it look like it's closer to us, right? Like it's overlapping the body, like it should. So that's on purpose. Well, they have 2 fins in the front, so we got to put the next set of fins, the one right in front. But these are going to be really short lines. So a diagonal line, a diagonal line, and a diagonal line, and then we're just going to connect it up. And this will be smaller. The reason that it's smaller, not a lot smaller, but a little smaller, is because it's further away, okay? It's on the other side of the body. And we don't draw it all the way up because the body's blocking it. Okay, it needs one more fin. Those of you that fish probably go, there's a major fin missing. Who's my fisherman in here? All right. What fin am I missing? Where does it go? Okay, he's saying we're missing a fin on the back. He's right, okay? And that's called the dorsal fin. It comes on top. So we're going to make a curved triangle. We're going to come right behind the eye. I'm going to go up a little ways, and then I'm going to come back and connect it. So it's a curved triangle shape, right? It's not straight. We're not going to draw it like an arrow, like go, it's not like that, okay? It's curved. It's like a little spike right on top of his head. Then we're going to go back just past where the body and the tail come together, and we're going to put another one, that same shape but shorter, leaning even further over, okay? This one's almost straight up and down. This one's leaning pretty far to the right. So it's another spike. So you got a long one and a short one. It's just important that you have a nice curve to it. Well, we got a long one, we got a short one, so right in between, we'll do a medium one. And it just leans a little bit to the right. I'll draw it kind of light to start with, make sure I got my angle right, my length right. Making sure it's a little bit longer than this one and a little shorter than that one. Okay, now I got my third spike. So if you grabbed him by the back and weren't paying attention, you get poked in your hand. Wiper, bluegill, all those little sharp, pokey kind of fish. Yep. Yeah, wiper have terrible dorsal fins. It hurts like crazy if you get stuck with them. All right, between these, we're going to do something similar to what we did right here. It's just a little different because it's just a little different shape. We're going to come right off the point and bring it to the other point, then to the other point, and then this one we're going to bring right down to the body, right on the top of the tail. Okay, now we got a little dorsal fin on the back. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this because we started with a simple circle. And we got a pretty good fish going here right now, okay? We're not done with it, but we're pretty far along. Does anybody need more time to finish that up? Because sometimes that takes a minute to get that on the back there. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase this part of my circle right here. I'm erasing that part, separate it from the tail. I'm going to erase it all the way down. Now you guys that fish know that, or even if you don't fish, most of you know they breathe through gills, right? So we need to put a gill on it, but I didn't want it way back there. I want it up closer, so I'm going to put kind of it's a nice bent line, kind of near this fin, coming up behind the mouth. And I'm just going to put a long line right there, just like that. And you'll notice it's left of where my other circle was. I don't need it as big. I don't need it going clear top to bottom, but it needs to be pretty big so he can get plenty of air, not drowned. Okay, he's got gills. Here's a question for you. It's not a trick question, but it is a question. Do fish have nostrils or noses? Yes. They do, okay? We need to put two little circles right here between his eyes, not touching the mouth, but two little circles right there so he can breathe, okay? In and out. So in and out the nose and gills. Focus. By the way, this is a brand new camera, first time I've ever used it, and so far it's working pretty good. A lot better than what I've had years prior, so you guys are getting the best. This is 4K, and it's looking pretty good. All right, top of the eye. We're going to put some eyelids right here. We're going to just come across right here at the top and make a shape very similar to what's right above it. We're just going to doot, doot, making like that little bird shape again. You'll notice we did the bird shape, or the three here, the bird shape here, and the bird shape here. It's called repetition in design. We did it over and over and over, but it works. And we're going to color these in later, probably tomorrow. And then he needs eyeballs, and these are going to be kind of oval shaped and kind of big. We're going to put one right there, and we're going to put one right there, because we want them looking off to the left, left and down. If this one is a little bit bigger than this one, that's okay, because this eye's closer than that one. You don't want it like 10 times bigger, just a little bit bigger, okay? And with our old guy, well, let me slow down, because I know some of you are just getting that eye on there. Let me slow up for a second. Okay, with our old guy, we had a little crease in the corner of his mouth, and we used a parenthesis shape. Same thing here. Longer one, a little shorter one. We got a pretty good smile on him. Okay, now tomorrow what we'll do when we come to class is we're going to add some cool teeth to it. We'll put some scales on it, maybe put some bubbles going back, and we'll color in the eyes and put reflection highlights in the eyes and color around. And we'll have a little fun finishing it up. That's good for today, and you guys did excellent. Everybody got a 5 out of 5 for a perfect A today.